Well, hello everybody. This is Linda from North Central Texas, and I came out here in the greenhouse and I noticed that my rose bush cuttings were drying out. And I think one of my biggest problems was all of them didn't dry out, but a lot of them did, and I think it was the smallest ones. And I think what was happening, since my greenhouse top had decayed and I covered it with the tarp. Well, if I can get my camera set up, we'll be doing fantastic, won't we? But what happened was, in see if that'll work any better. I think what was happening, even though it's enclosed and it is solid plastic, because I re-duct taped all of the plastic together at the top, either there was not enough moisture inside the greenhouse already, or I didn't add enough moisture in watering the plants, but they started drying out. So what I'm doing now, I went to Walmart and I got me 2 plastic tubs. I got one right there that I've already got my cuttings replanted in with the clear lid on top. And then I bought another one over here that I'm working on right now. Now, all I'm doing is replacing the cuttings of my rose bushes that dried out. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because the fact that when I put the lids on these, it's going to keep all the moisture in. It's not going to let any of the moisture out. And I went and got bigger cuttings too. And what I mean by bigger cuttings is they're thicker. I mean, you can still bend them a little bit if you, you bend the stem and they won't break. But they're not quite as little as the ones I had put in there before. And I knew, excuse me for that, I'm out here in this dry climate, and I've been messing with this dirt. But you can see that's a pretty hefty cutting right there. And I'm going to go ahead and score the bottom of it, just a little. Not much. Dip it in my rooting hormone and put it down in my pot. Because I do remember back when I first got my greenhouse that when it was closed up, all the moisture stayed in the greenhouse. And there was actually sweat coming down the sides of the greenhouse. So it kept the rose bushes really moist, the top of them and everything. So I think that was the problem this time, since the greenhouse was not completely airtight. There was a lot of moisture escaping, and it was not keeping my rose bushes as wet as they should have been. I'm not talking about the dirt part. I'm talking about the part that was above the dirt. That has to stay moist too. It has to keep moist air on it, so the tops don't dry out like mine already did. But once I get them all replanted or restaked, and I get them in the clear totes and get the lid on them, it should keep all that moisture inside, just like the greenhouse did when it was new. And it helps to keep your stem at an angle like that, and to also score it. I don't know if I'm showing that. Get 2 out of this one. Where'd it go? Yeah, I try to be as honest with you people as possible because, you know, I don't want anyone to lie to me and then me invest money in something and then it messes up. But I think if you don't have the solid greenhouse, then these little tubs, these clear tubs, will work just as well. Some people root their rose bushes in sand, and that's fine too. Because once they get rooted, you're going to take them out and put them in another pot and put some rich dirt in them. But they do need the moisture. That's one thing these rose bushes need when you're trying to root them, is the moisture. Sorry about that. I keep throwing the scissor down and I forget it's on metal and it makes a racket. Yeah, like a lot of these are too small. And I'm not even going to put any in there that I think are too small this time, because I've already tried and I see that that don't work. I need yellow rose bushes. I need 2 of them, so we're going to go get our yellow rose bush. And it's out here in the front. It got hot on us today. I'm here sweating. Been trying to... A couple of my cameras went back offline, so I've been messing with them today too, trying to get them back online. But I've only got one of the... Can't tell where I'm... Yeah. I've only got one of the... I think that'll do it, because I can get 2 cuttings out of this piece. And you don't have to worry about failing because, hey, a lot of gardening is trial and error. Yeah, that piece is going to make 2 cuttings. And that's basically what I needed for my yellow rose was 2 cuttings because I've already got a couple of them in the pot. And they're still green, so I'm going to leave them right there. So hopefully putting the dome lid on top of the totes, that's going to allow the sun to get in, but it's going to keep the moisture in. It's just basically going to make a mini greenhouse. And hey, those clear totes are a lot cheaper than replacing my greenhouse or even trying to buy the new plastic cover for it. Because the plastic cover for the greenhouse runs a good $100 or more. And I really didn't want to spend that kind of money right now on that. Not just to do my rose bushes. Because I already found, even though I put some of my other stuff in the greenhouse last year, this one is so little and it doesn't keep enough heat inside that it actually does good to keep things from freezing. Now the rose bushes, it doesn't matter. They're not going to freeze anyway in these totes. And they're made to withstand that kind of temperatures. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and put this other tray I've got all these other ones, and I can't get the whole tray in there, but what I can do is take them out of the tray and put them into the tote. And that's what I'm doing. I just keep making a mess, I tell you. Just keep making a mess. But yeah, I'm just going to put them right down in there. And I could probably get more in there if I took all of them out of the little trays. Huh. Because I got a few more that needs to go in there. I'll go ahead and take the rest of them out of the trays, I think. I can fit more cups down in there if I do that. And doing this, you don't have to worry about watering them as much because they will contain water a lot more than they will if they're not in there. I mean, you don't want them sitting in water, but you do want them to be wet. And I can always keep my trays to use later if I want them. Yeah. So see, I got 2 whole trays of them in there. So that's going to work, I think. There's a couple of them that need watering though. So I am going to do that. And then I'm simply going to put the lid back on. Oh, I just turned my rooting hormone over. Thank God I didn't spill much. Put the lid on it, then I'm going to slip it right back under there. Because that clear tote is going to allow the sun to get in. But it's going to keep the moisture in too. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16. That's 32 rose cuttings that I've got there root to root. And I guess I've got my butt in the camera. Everything in the camera but what should be there. Oh. Seems like everything I try to do, I'm standing on my head. But these little cages that I put over my Jolly Green Tree Giant collards, or Jolly Green tree collards, they seem to be working pretty good. At least I checked the leaves. There's no more worms or bugs getting on them. So what damage is done is already done. So, and I always think of tons of things to say or tell you. I gotta sit down here a minute. Or to tell you once I get offline. And then I say, oh shoot, I wish I'd have told them that. And then I realize, well, I don't want to get back on there for 5 minutes just to tell you what I forgot to tell you. So, but I did most definitely want to get on here and let you know about the greenhouse, because the greenhouse is working with the tarp on top. I mean, it keeps the rain and the weather out of the greenhouse, but for some reason it's not holding the moisture as much as it did last year, or either I don't have enough moisture in there to begin with for it to keep moisture in, because it's not accumulating on the inside of the walls of the greenhouse like it did. So that's why I decided to go ahead and get those clear totes. And like I said, they're about the size of the colored totes that you plant in. Only you don't want to plant in the clear totes because the plastic doesn't hold up as good. Now, doing the greenhouse with them, it's probably the most inexpensive little greenhouse you're going to be able to find. Because even if you don't have a big greenhouse, you can take one of those clear totes that has a clear lid on it. Put your cuttings in there that you're going to root. Make sure that the soil is moist. Put that clear lid on it because it fastens on. It's not going to blow off. And just put it out in the yard. You can put it in the sunshine. And it'll stay all winter long. It'll keep your plants from freezing that's inside it. And your little rose bushes will root inside that green, inside that clear plastic tote. Because you just made a mini greenhouse. And you can buy the, felt like something bit my ear. You can buy the clear plastic tote for, I think I spent $8.98 or $9.58 or something like that for each tote. But just make sure you get the clear ones. And they're plenty tall enough to where when your rose bushes root and they start growing, you can leave them in there for a while until you get ready to plant them, or you get ready to put them in a bigger pot. Now sometimes, like last year, I put a couple in a bigger pot and had them in the backyard. Those are the last two that I put on the property line. I didn't go ahead and put those out in the yard at the beginning. I wanted to compare the growth, and I think they were kind of equal in growth, because even though they were tiny, the ones I planted on the property line, as long as I keep them watered, they grew. I mean, they were fine. And the ones that were in the pots grew, you know, and I kept them watered all the time too. So it's up to you. Once they're rooted, you can do anything you want to with them. If they got good roots on them, you can put them in the yard, put them in your rock garden, or put them in a bigger pot. But I wanted to get on here and show you how to fix a mini greenhouse, because I'm not trusting the tarp on top of mine this winter to keep enough moisture in my greenhouse to keep my rose bushes going. So I opted to go ahead and go the cheaper route, buy me two clear, they're about 18, 19 gallon size totes with a clear plastic top, and use that as a mini greenhouse. And I just put that inside the other greenhouse because I know they'll be okay now. And they should keep enough moisture to the top of the rosebush cutting that it should thrive. So with that, it's Saturday afternoon. I've got a lot more to do. I got my mess to clean up. So please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And y'all have a blessed evening.